So we're starting to make preparations on testing of the turborocket Mark 6 unit, as shown here on the test stand. And thought it might be useful to show our preparations as we begin to move to the final stages of preparation on being able to test this engine prototype. So a couple of the things that we're going to be working on, you can see that the basic turborocket Mark 6 unit is mounted on the stand. The main propellant lines, the fuel line and the oxidizer line, have all been fabricated. The gas buffer pressurization lines are in and installed. And so, and of course the engine is cleaned and assembled. So those are all kind of looking good. So the basic fabrication work is pretty well done. But as we move into the getting serious and concentrated on the development efforts to do the testing, there's a number of things that we're going to be working on. And we'll just kind of start, show you some of those things and show our progress. So the first thing we have to do is we have to finish installing the feed lines for the system. This is the oxidizer tank. It's simply a vacuum insulated thermos, and we'll be using that for the liquid oxygen. This system is pressurized with just nitrogen, a low pressurization, a few PSIG to move the propellant out of this dip tube kind of arrangement here, and then into the engine itself. The fuel side, which is we're going to be testing with ethanol, basically denatured ethanol, again, the same kind of principle here. We'll have gas pressurization at the top of the system, and then a dip tube, which will pick up from the bottom and then flow the propellant into the engine. We have a couple of isolation valves. These are cryogenic rated solenoid valves, and so we'll be using these to isolate the respective propellants, the liquid oxygen, and then the ethanol prior to testing. And as discussed in the turborocket book, the calculation methodology implies that there's a supply pressure that's given to the propellant, and it's pretty modest. It's just a few handful of PSIG to kind of get the propellant, out of the tanks and down into the engine. And the rotation of the engine is what does the real pumping work. But again, like on the liquid oxygen side, we have some detailed work to complete the flow lines. We need to use some Teflon tape on these NPT fittings to get those sealed. We'll pull down on these Yorlock. They're sort of a swedge-like type fitting, more of a kind of a generic brand, and we'll get those pulled down and swedged onto the main lines. We'll also do some cleaning of these lines. It turns out that ethanol, is a suitable solvent for degreasing the lines for the oxide. So that's to our benefit in this particular system. So we can use the fuel for some of that degreasing and cleaning action. And it has a high vapor pressure, so it quickly evaporates. So those are some of the things we're going to be doing initially to get ready to do the testing and to complete the fabrication. And we'll keep you posted on some of the other systems and preparation works as we prepare for testing in subsequent videos and subsequent parts.